Right, my name is Dan, but under this channel I'm going to be going under the alias of the Theatre Reviewer. And this channel, it's in the name, we're going to be reviewing theatre. I've always loved the content of people like Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Jahns, and I really like the way they review films. And I wanted to apply that, but to theatre. I feel like a lot of theatre reviews are great. The ones that are written up online, a lot of them are quite short. They don't really go into too much detail. There's quite a quick turnover because there's so much content out there. So the first video that I'm going to be bringing you today, the first review that we're going to be doing, is Mischief Theatres, the play that goes wrong. I was introduced to them with their BBC special in 2016, Peter Pan Goes Wrong, and I just found it hilarious. So this production actually came first. This production debuted in 2012, so I know I'm a little late to the party with this one, but let's see. Now, the play that goes wrong debuted in the West End and has been there ever since. Now, that's quite an achievement considering how competitive and cutthroat the West End is. If something doesn't do, incredibly well, it's going to be chopped, gone, something else is going to take its place. And since then, the play that has gone wrong has gone on to have a touring cast of the UK. But not just the UK, they've also been to Australia, New Zealand and more. They've also had a production done on Broadway, the Broadway, and just to add to that, if that's not enough, J.J. Abrams produced the Broadway version. This is the same J.J. that's done Star Wars, Star Trek, Lost, Westworld. So the play earned them a Tony and an Olivier. In short, they've had incredible success with this one play. But Mischief Theatre, they didn't stop there. They've currently got 2 plays running in the West End, and recently, about a week ago, they announced their 3rd. They're going to have 3 plays running at the same time. This would topple Disney's dominant reign of the West End with their 2 massive theatrical titans of The Lion King and Aladdin. It's under one brand. They're going to have 3 plays under one brand in one city. It's insane. The Duchess Theatre was small, it was sparsely decorated, it had that purposefully cheap look. The set looked like it was going to fall down, which it did. And what made things brilliant was that supposed members of the tech team and backstage were interacting with the audience, asking them questions. They even got one bloke up on stage to help hold the falling down set together, and it set that comedic tone. You know how when you walk into a theatre, normally there's that rumble of chatter and people, excitedly taking their seats. Now there was that, but in a different way, because people were focusing on watching the show before it had even begun. One thing that I found was brilliant was that background props were crucial parts of the play, like for example the door. The door stops the cast getting in and out, resulting in members shouting lines from backstage. It's swung open and ends up knocking out 2 members of the cast. The actual backdrop falls down, and where the cast members are stood safely in places where they're not going to get hit, so they'll cut, like in the window for example, if it comes down, the person will be standing in the window, and it was really funny. The set was put together brilliantly. It on the surface it looks obviously cheap and tacky because it has to go with the running theme that the play's being put on by the Cornwall Polytechnic Drama Society, and they're obviously going to have no budget. But when you look beneath that to the mechanics that went together to put this thing in production, and not just put it in production, but to do it safely, because you've got cast members throwing themselves off high points, you've got pieces of wall falling down, doors flying open in their face. It had to be done meticulously in order for no one to end up actually getting hurt. And I'd be surprised if in the rehearsal process no one actually did get hurt. Relaying back to what actually got me interested in Mischief Theatre in the first place, like I said earlier, was Peter Pan Goes Wrong, and it was the BBC special. I think it was around Christmas time in 2016. And one part of that I thought was absolutely brilliant, that wasn't as apparent in the play that goes wrong, was that it had these 2 plots. So obviously in Peter Pan you had the plot of Peter Pan, Captain Hook, Tinkerbell, all of that. But you also had a subplot of the actual actors themselves. So sometimes they'd play the techie would play the wrong recordings, and it would be kind of like a dialogue between two of the actors. They'd be moaning or complaining or saying nasty things about some of the other members of the cast. Or there was one where someone confessed their love for one of the cast members. It made you hate or love certain actors, completely unrelating to what character they were playing. So for example, Peter Pan himself, we're supposed to love him, he's the protagonist, but we hated him because he was caught having an affair. He was caught cheating on his girlfriend, who was the actress who played Wendy. One of the characters was loved because he came across as the underdog, and I really think this is what The Play That Goes Wrong missed a little bit, is that it didn't have this second plot as such. I mean, we did have Patrick Warner, who played the inspector, but also the director slash everything for the Cornley Polytechnic Society, and he announces the play at the beginning. He gives a little speech, and that's about as far as you get. I mean, the techie gets involved. He's kind of up on the side, and you can see him, and he's messing around as well, missing sound cues, but you don't have that second narrative that I think Peter Pan had, and that I think worked so well. It made you really root for certain characters, and this was just a bit more chaos for the sake of chaos. However, that being said, The Play That Goes Wrong is incredibly funny, and I think the main reason is the characters themselves. I think all of the cast were incredibly strong. Sometimes when you go and watch a production, there'll be, as cruel as it sounds to say, there's always like that 1 or 2 weak links. There are certain standouts, but this was strong across the board. One particular standout for me had to be, again, as I've said, Patrick Warner. His presence and his manner and his tone on stage. Every time he spoke, he commanded you watch him. There's an incredibly funny moment when he's sat on this sofa and he's looking for a ledger that's going to have clues to, it's a plot device. It moves the plot forward. One of the actors before had moved it underneath the sofa because he was uncomfortable, forgetting that it was used as a plot device. So Warner lifts up each cushion, shouting, "A ledger!" And each time he does it in the exact same time. The reaction just grows and grows and grows. It's so funny. Another standout is Alistair Curtin, who played Cecil Havisham. He also played the gardener, and he came across as this dopey but lovable character. Finally, the supposed dead Charles Havisham was absolutely brilliant, because he starts with him being dead on the sofa in the centre of the stage. I think he's sat on, had his hand trod on numerous times, in which he slowly drags his hand away, which was really funny. Finally, the supposedly dead Charles Havisham, who is laid dead on the sofa in the middle of the set, played by Jason Calendar. There were numerous moments where this guy was really funny, but there was one in particular where he kicks the door open holding a rifle and shouts, "Hold it right there, Inspector." He's supposed to be dead, and by that you can gather he's pretty much just spoiled the entire plot of the play, and that's what made it extra funny. And he did it a second time and screamed like, "Oh, come on," or something like that. This shows that their humour is still, from their original play, is still funny today in 2019, even though it debuted in 2012, and even though that they have so many other plays on. So they've got The Play That Goes Wrong, they've had Peter Pan That Goes Wrong, they've currently got on a comedy about a bank robbery. I'm definitely going to be getting tickets to the show they just announced at the Vaudeville Theatre. It runs from September. It's called Grown Ups, but it's spelled G-R-O-A-N, about school. And I know that one has a lot of the original cast from the Peter Pan special, so I'm especially excited for that. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's going to be something that we're going to be doing regularly, amongst other things. Have a great day, guys, and see you later.